Okay, this is the Unit 9 study guide. The diameter of, this means circle B, is 8 inches. What is the area in terms of pi? So let's first draw the circle. So the center of the circle, you'll need this later on. It's called B. That's why it's circle B. The diameter, the distance from side to or edge to the other edge, is 8 inches. Okay, the area for a circle is pi r squared. So if the diameter is 8 inches, the radius is half of that diameter. So the radius here is 4. So I want to plug the radius in. So the area equals pi 4 squared inches. 4 squared is 16. So in this case, 16 pi inches squared. So in terms of pi, means pi is in my answer. I do not plug in 3.14. Okay, what is the circumference of the circle with a radius of 3.4? Round your answer to the nearest tenth. So now I will plug in 3.14 for pi. So a circumference is 2 pi times the radius. In this case, the radius is 3.4. So we're going to plug in our numbers. 2 times 3.14 for pi times a radius of 3.4. Now we plug all of this into the calculator. 2 So our answer is 21.352, but it's asking us to round to the nearest tenth, which is this number. So this 5 behind my tenth, the 100th place, is going to round my tenth up. So we are going to approximate to 21.4. And we are not given any units here, so that will be our answer. Okay, so the perimeter of a square is 32 meters. Find the area of the square. So the perimeter is 32 meters. Well, we know that a square has 4 sides that are equal length. So I'm going to take my perimeter. What's that? Correct. So 32 divided by 4 means each side length is 8 meters. So the area for a square is the side length squared. Correct? So 8 squared, 64 meters squared. Cool beans. Okay, A is 1, 1. B is 4, 8. C is 12, 8. And then 9, 1 for D. We want to find the area of this figure. I'm going to draw the figure. So what are the requirements for a parallelogram? Requirements for a parallelogram. Opposite sides congruent. What? Yes. Opposite sides are, what did you say? For a parallelogram? Congruent? And what else? Parallel. Okay. So the area formula for a parallelogram is base times height. So we want to find the length of our base here, which we can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My base is 8. Now the height I can also count. Now do not let this deceive you. This is not the height of my parallelogram. That is the length of the side. The height is perpendicular off the base. So this would be our height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Height is 7. So to solve, 8 times 7, which is 56. Okay, calculate the area of the figure. Okay, the area for a triangle, 1/2 base times height. Okay, here my base is 18 centimeters. My height is given here, 12 centimeters. So let's plug this in. 1/2 times 18 times 12. What's that? That's 108 centimeters squared. Which one? This one? Okay, turn the page. Yes, this is a trapezoid. Okay, so here we have a trapezoid. Find the area of the trapezoid. Area formula. 1/2 height. Base 1 plus base 2, that's correct. 1/2 the height times the sum of the bases. Okay, so the height is 11 centimeters. Base 1, 25 centimeters. Base 2, 18 centimeters. So I want to plug all of this in. I'm going to write it on the other side. 1/2 times 11 times 25 plus 18. 25 plus 18, 43. Times 11 times 1/2. Multiply all this together. I get the area equal to 236.5 centimeters squared. What kind of polygon is this? This is a kite. So the area for a kite is 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Now the diagonal is from corner or vertex to opposite corner or vertex. So the diagonal is this entire length. So diagonal 1 is 3.5 plus 7.5. So diagonal 1 is 11. Diagonal 2 is this length, 3 plus 3, which is 6. So let's plug this information in. 1/2 times 11 times 6. So the area is 33 meters squared. Okay, this polygon is a rhombus. Area formula for a rhombus, 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. What does this mark mean? Correct. Congruent to the side that has the same mark. So this is also 4. If this is 6.4, this is also 6.4. So diagonal 1 has a length of 8. Diagonal 2 has a length of 6.4 plus 6.4, which is 12.8, which I should be putting those measurements in inches. So let's plug this in. 1/2 times 8 times 12.8. So multiply all of this out. .2 inches squared. Okay, calculate the area of the trapezoid. Show your calculations. Okay, we are first going to write down the area formula. Trapezoid is 1/2 height times the sum of the bases. Okay, we know what base 1 is. If this length is 11, this is also the same length here. I must add together these two pieces to get the sum of just this one base. So base 1 is 16 centimeters. Base 2 is 11 centimeters. But I am missing the height. The height is not given to me. And 13 centimeters is not the height. I have to use the Pythagorean Theorem to find this height, h. So h squared plus 5 squared must equal the third side squared, 13 squared. So h squared plus 25 must equal 169. I would subtract 25 on both sides because it is the opposite of the positive 25, and it is the property of equality to do it to both. H squared equals 144. The inverse of squaring is to take the square root. So if I take the square root of both sides, the square root of 144 is positive 12 and negative 12. But in this case, we're only taking the positive, the principal square root. So the height is 12. Let's plug all of this in. 1/2 times the height of 12. The sum of my bases, 16 plus 11. That's 27 centimeters squared. Plug all of this into a calculator. The area is 162 centimeters squared.